day 5, and today I wanted to talk about how to or how I plan on splitting my time or spending my time, which is very different when you are not full-time on your startup and you have 2 little kids. It's different than it used to be when, well, at some point I was full-time on my startup and didn't have any kids, so full-time was like, a lot of time. Full-time now is however much time I can, kind of sneak out of the house one day, and then not full-time is not very much, basically. So that's what I want to talk about today. It's the weekend, so it's hard to find some time to record, so I'm pushing the stroller, which is the only option I have today. But anyways, like four years ago, before I joined Tiny Seed, took funding, took on some other investors as well, and started going full-time for real. I was full-time before, but I was doing a lot of different things. Like I had my product WP Pusher, I had some consulting worked for some startups and stuff. But once I joined Tiny Seed, I went full-time for real. And pretty quickly after joining Tiny Seed, I also brought on Bjorn, who later became my co-founder. And before joining Tiny Seed, I had a girlfriend, but I wasn't married. I didn't have any kids, and I was sort of living the digital nomad life. Had been doing that for a long time, and just sort of had all the time in the world, I guess. And I loved kind of splitting my time, basically, which is what I kind of plan on doing now again. But I the way I could split my time back then was like, okay, I'll work on some hard coding problems in the morning, like really intensely, get up early. Maybe I'll like meditate or read a book before I do that, go for a run or something. And then, because I was spending a lot of time in Spain, Thailand, then maybe like I'll go swimming, take a long break for lunch, and maybe go out to a restaurant or something. And then in the afternoon, I would work on marketing or whatever. I was splitting time between. So that's not an option right now, the way my life is. But then it changed, because then, the startups became more serious, took on investors, had more like responsibilities, investor updates. And I brought on Bjorn full-time. So we were 2 people working full-time, also working with contractors and stuff. So my job was just different. I didn't have to do everything. So we needed a more systems and like project management tools and stuff like that, which is another thing I want to talk about soon. And then, recently I stopped working. Well, sort of last year I stopped working full-time in Reform and took on a part-time job at Tailwind Labs. And now I think where I'm at right now, Reform is going to be my main focus outside of my job at Tailwind. And I've been struggling with how to kind of split my time in Reform, like what to even work on and what my focus is going to be. And I think right now I'm allowing myself to keep it a horizontal product and sort of just like double down on what I'm excited about, just to even just motivate myself, I guess. And then I remembered a blog post I read years ago, I guess, at least a while ago, by John Young Fook, about how he split his time, where it's 1 week coding, 1 week marketing, and then he sends a product email or product update on the by end of the 2nd week, which is actually what we used to do for Reform. So I really like that cadence. And so I thought about that this morning, and I found the blog post and read up on it. And reading up on it, I just described it in like 12 words or something. It's extremely simple, which is what I like about it. And I think for someone who's a solo founder like I am now, and who's not even working on their product full time, it's the perfect framework. Because you can do, like, even if you only had 3 hours one week, you could do something meaningful on the product. And then the next week, you could do something meaningful on marketing. And then you could, tell the world about it, basically, by the end of that week. Or at least tell them something, So it's like very manageable. And a lot of the times that's sort of all you need. Just like, if you only have 3 hours, you just pick the most meaningful thing, which you probably should be doing anyways, but you often don't. So I was really excited that I kind of remembered this framework, and I think I'm going to try it for Reform. I think it's the perfect framework, or kind of like way of structuring my work right now when I'm only one person and I'm not full-time. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to record the video about. I don't know how insightful it was, but it's what's on my mind today on a Saturday, as I'm sort of pushing strollers around and picking blackberries with my son, and thinking about what I'm going to do next week. And John Young Fook has his website. I think it's called something like Coding Week, Marketing Week or something.com. And it says if it's Coding Week or Marketing Week, and this week it's Coding Week. So when I start doing this for real next week, it'll be Marketing Week. So we'll kick things off with a Marketing Week. Anyways, I think tomorrow maybe I'll talk about project management a little bit, because that's another thing I've been struggling with. Sort of like when I left Reform as a full-time founder with a co-founder and several people working on it, we had a lot of project management stuff and lists and Trello boards or Notion boards or whatever, and that's a lot when you're a solo founder and you are working part-time. So I've also been spending some time kind of reevaluating that and coming up with some new systems that I'm pretty stoked about. So yeah, I'll talk about that tomorrow or another day. But yeah, let's end this video. Thanks for watching.